What's up? Welcome to the Signless Podcast once again. I am your host, Liz, and I am joined as always by my co-host Marcus.
It's me.
So happy Tuesday. Fuck, I've done this twice now. This is the second time I've done this.
It's because we do one AEW podcast and suddenly your brain switches.
I know, it's insane. But happy NXT day.
Yeah, it was a great episode. Even with the hiccups, that happen backstage, they still pull off a great show. Like Kushida not being able to wrestle.
Oh, I was like, what? Yeah, I thought that it was 9:53 and suddenly I was like, oh shit, the show's over. So
that might be the effects of this being right after Raw.
well, no, because it's always right after Raw.
I feel like it always kind of flies by.
But I'm saying like tonight especially, I was like, yeah.
So
Well, usually you recap, yeah.
Yeah, my brain's kind of haywired right now.
Need some coffee?
Huh?
Need some coffee?
Honestly, that would probably help.
Want me to make you some coffee?
Not right now. We're in the middle of a
nice.
podcast.
Trying to be nice.
A lot happened, but a lot didn't happen because this is the go home show. Didn't really get a lot of go home math. We had Indi Hartwell propose to Dexter, and he said yes without saying yes. That was definitely the highlight of the episode. We also had the Cole and O'Reilly prime target. We had an amazing match between Roderick Strong and Ilya Dragunov. After Kushida wasn't able to wrestle for an undisclosed reason. We had a little brawl with Hit Row and Legato. A return to form for Cameron Grimes. Got a mixed tag match which led to the proposal. Bunch of interesting promos leading up to Takeover, which were all really good. The only one which really wasn't was Joe and Carrion, because Carrion cannot form a goddamn sentence that's like clever in any way.
Or interesting.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, I can't wait to go over it because it's just he cannot be clever ever. He's just not capable of it, I guess. We had Carmelo Hayes over Duke Hudson for the breakout tournament, making Carmelo Hayes versus Odyssey Jones for the final. That's really interesting. And then we had MSK retain their title. Interesting show that kind of made a lot out of nothing.
Yeah. A lot of it was taking stuff that very much happened like last week and doing something with it. And I didn't feel disappointed by this at all.
Yeah.
I felt how did the episode do in terms of your ratings?
Well, let's see. I'm glad you asked. It was the best episode since July 6th. Got a 6.4 out of 10. Which is really good. That's the second highest rating that I have locked down. Third highest. Yeah, it was a great episode. I don't understand how anyone could say NXT is worse than the main roster, because NXT has the great wrestling and the underground feeling of the indies, which appeals to hardcore wrestling fans and indies fans. But then they're also doing now kind of more nostalgic storylines that represent kind of the Attitude Era and the Golden Era, like the whole Index storyline, the Ted DiBiase storyline. That stuff is very reminiscent. And I don't see how there's any argument for the main roster being better. I don't.
But that's the thing, is that at the end of the day, I think that it's really just not what Vince is looking for, which sucks. Like, that's what matters at the end of the day. In terms of keeping the show alive, that's what matters at the end of the day. Not like for actual, if you're a fan, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You would think he'd really be into the whole $1 Million Champion storyline and Index and all. I guess he is into Index because he wants Indi Hartwell on the main roster. He wants Dakota Kai on the main. Actually, we don't know that for sure. He wants Aaliyah on the main roster. Wants fucking.
Well, Aaliyah is on the main roster now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And one thing I've kind of realized, we've heard about these specific requirements or specific traits that he's looking for in men, but we don't know how he, like, what he wants in women on the main roster. Like, we don't, like, obviously he's looking for big young guys for the main roster. What's he looking for the women?
What a question you have, sir. What a question you have.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily imply anything, because it could just be implying that he's satisfied.
I think his
with
standards
the women.
for women. I was gonna say, and this isn't like a commentary on like the women as wrestlers, but I think like his pernickettiness about like their traits and qualities is lower. Like the threshold is lower, I think.
And the fact,
and I think that's just because there isn't like quite a standard for women's wrestlers right now. It's kind of just like a lot of different women doing a lot of different shit.
And the fact that we've seen a lot of women called up is because I guess he's satisfied with the women's scene in NXT.
Also, speaking of the women's scene in NXT, I'd like to partially retract my answer to last night's question about one of the biggest NXT stars, like the biggest successes out of NXT. Bayley and Sasha completely forgot.
Okay.
I was just thinking about that. Came up in my head.
I want to retract my answer too, for the men's answer for the best NXT superstar. The real answer that everyone will agree with is LA Knight. All right, so you want to get into the news?
Yes, I've got some fun news tonight.
Do you?
I was about to go over here to change the sign. Anyways, yes. So let's start with the AEW news, as always. Then we'll move into some WWE news or related to WWE news. So first things first. I've got to open up. Marks. So some AEW stars were added to NWA Empower. And that is Red Velvet and Kylan King. They are going to be part of the women's tag team tournament. I'm getting yelled at by a cat now. Can you hear that?
No.
along with this. Okay. That seems interesting. It's once again the forbidden door being slammed open by Tony Khan while we all sit here on the WWE side of things like, must be nice. Just kidding. We watch both, so it doesn't matter. And then on top of that, the Young Bucks filed for several Elite-related trademarks, including trademarking the terms Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, the Elite, being the Elite, and BTE for entertainment and merchandise purposes.
Yeah, probably just renewals.
It doesn't say renewals. It literally just says filed to trademark the terms. So it doesn't sound like they're renewing it.
I mean, I'm not sure how renewing it goes. It might be like a renewal, or it could be you just have to trademark it again.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, anyways, that happened. And then Ruby Riot, previously Ruby Riot, now Ruby Soho, has a little video out now.
Mm-hmm.
Little video implying something.
I didn't watch it. Is it any good? Is it another prison breakout video?
It's not really. It's really more of just like, it's her looking good and like walking through a train station. And the whole point is, I missed the train to New York, and I got onto the train to Chicago instead, or something like that.
Chicago.
Yeah. So when I say implying some things, that is what I'm saying.
So meaning she's not going to be at AEW Grand Slam, she's going to be at AEW Rampage First Dance. Huh.
Friday's going to be wild. I really think on Friday what I'm going to do is I will set up I'll set up the stream on this laptop, and then I'll set up Rampage on the other laptop. So if anything crazy happens, we'll at least know in the moment.
I'll probably do the same.
Yeah, well, you're lucky. You've got the computer. I'm going to have to do the thing I never wanted to do, which is use my company's laptop for watching stuff on wrestling. Or I could have it on in the background in the TV. No one will know.
Yeah, well, they'll see the light from it.
Yeah, and I'll have to keep going like this.
Yeah. You won't know. You won't even know.
And then some other interesting news related to previously Tyler Rust, currently Taylor Rust. He did an interview, or an interview with Wrestling Inc. was posted today, where he basically said that he's got a lot of stuff in the works, sort of. It seems like he said that he's got a lot of different companies that he's looking into working with, some of them being Ring of Honor and New Japan. So that's really exciting. It seems like he's kind of off on the good foot there, heading into some really interesting stuff going forward. And I'm excited. I can't wait to find out where he fucking lands. But that'll be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to follow a lot of these people, I think. Especially as the 30-day mark is starting to approach.
Yeah.
Oh.
Braun Strowman's coming up very soon.
What is he doing?
13 days now.
Oh, he's being weird about it. Okay.
Well, he said 14 days yesterday, and I know how to do math.
I gotta see, just coming back to Raw.
Imagine. Oh, God.
No, and he looks weird now, too.
He doesn't look weird.
Didn't he, like, shave his head?
He's always had his head shaved, like, for a while.
I did something that was
He
weird.
trimmed his beard.
Oh, yes.
He didn't shave it. He trimmed
like,
it, but he looks a lot better now. He looks good.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at him. Also, final piece of news tonight, quite apt for the evening. Mr. Adam Cole, Marcus, you apprised me of this information.
Yeah, so during his stream yesterday, I believe, he specifically said no matter what, under no conditions, he is never giving up his live stream or his channel. His Twitch channel will always be there, no matter what. And we know main roster's guidelines on that. What this implies, don't know. Could go to AEW and stream indefinitely. Could go to main roster and get some special deal where he can still live stream. Or the channel doesn't go anywhere. He just doesn't stream on it.
No, I don't see that happening at all. He's so obsessed with streaming, and like he loves the people on his streams so much that I cannot imagine him ever giving up that.
Well, he's just a very nice guy.
Yeah. I just don't see it going away. That did make me wonder though, because like I wonder if they're gonna if WWE is gonna be like, well, if you're not gonna sign with the main roster, then we're not gonna re-sign you.
It would suck. Yeah. It would really suck if he goes to the main roster and continues live streaming, because that would suck for everyone else who had to give up their live streams to be on the main roster, like Cesaro, AJ Styles, Baron Corbin.
Yep.
Like,
I know.
Why does he get a special deal?
I really don't think he would.
Yeah.
Especially judging by the way that Vince has been viewing people of his nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I doubt he's staying in NXT though. I really doubt it.
As the days pass, I get more and more like he's not staying in WWE.
Yeah, I mean
don't think so.
The way Vince sees it now is if you're not in the main roster, and if you're not trying to go to the main roster, then why are you there?
Yeah. Which, again, is the problem with the way that... You know, sometimes I keep thinking back to all those people like Daniel Bryan saying, like, WWE NXT is not developmental anymore. It's its own brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I think about them saying stuff like that, the more I'm like, did Vince just hear that and go, okay, sure, it's not developmental.
You think Vince reads the media at all? Or listens to what his talent has to say?
He is working out at midnight. He better be involved in some form of reading the news. You'd think. You'd hope.
I don't know. But maybe that's what's led to Daniel Bryan leaving. Speaking of Daniel Bryan, a tiny piece of news. He said he's very interested in working with Will Ospreay. And Will, what promotion is Will Ospreay? Is that NJPW?
NJPW.
He would be awesome on NJPW. Like, that would be insane. Because then he'd more than likely cross over with like AEW, Impact, be another Kenny.
Yeah. Damn. It's interesting. I feel like we're going to be consuming a lot more wrestling very, very soon.
I already can't handle it. It's already so much. Every day of the week is filled with wrestling.
I know. And then it's like
Thursdays.
There's wrestlers that I love that like might be going to like brands that we don't watch right now, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to watch them there.
Like Thursdays and Fridays already have 2 promotions on, 2 shows.
But NJPW has Saturday shows.
Isn't it like Saturdays like 11 p.m.? Because, you know, they're in
I don't
Japan.
know. What's the time difference?
It's not small.
I know that.
Let's see, when this might be a dumb question. NJPW Air Eastern time. 10 p.m. Eastern. NJPW strong. Fridays. So same time as Rampage.
I have to like get dual monitors. Like a fucking security setup.
Yeah. Miriam suggested we give ourselves Mondays off. That would be nice. That'd be really nice.
Miriam, the number of times that Mark and I have suggested to ourselves that we simply just change up the format of this entire show.
What if we give ourselves, or what if we give ourselves Monday off and we watch like Raw Tuesdays before NXT? Like we skip through commercials and everything. Watch a condensed version.
Then we have to figure out a show that's gonna fill.
No,
we can't go from streaming 3
No.
days to.
Well, let's not fill the gap at all. Let's leave the gap. The gap's
Well,
fine.
then I'll do the Raw podcast because we can't go from 3 to 2 and then not go back.
Oh, you meant with a podcast. I thought you meant days of the week. AEW.
Okay.
Dynamite.
Dynamite?
Dynamite.
I know, Mike.
What is? Oh, is Dynamite? I know that's like from something, and I think it's Hoodwinked.
It is.
Is it Hoodwinked?
Oh.
Yeah, it's Hoodwinked. I
Yes.
can't believe I remember that movie.
I don't even think I saw that movie, but somehow I know that.
Oh, I loved that movie as a kid. That was so good. It was so bad, but it was so good.
Let's see. Did I see this movie?
Miriam Dynamite must be Italian.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, that's exactly. Oh my god.
All right. So is that all the news?
That is all the news.
All right. Well, then let's get into the matches and promos. So, we started with Diamond Mine. Meaning just Roddy, Hideki, and Malcolm. Malcolm says, "If there's one thing I dislike, it's negativity. Kushida is a liar and a coward. If I was Kushida, I wouldn't want to defend my title against Roddy either. He's the messiah of backbreakers. He wants a match tonight. What Roddy wants, Roddy gets. It's open challenge time." And shockingly, Ilya Dragunov comes out. And they, without even words exchanged, they have a match.
So we start by just grappling. Just grappling, baby. Also, can I just say that every time I see Diamond Mine now, I'm just like,
You gotta be more invested in Roddy.
I am invested in Roddy, but there's a part of my heart that was invested in somebody else, and it's gone now. And I'm like, it's an aching hollow.
Be more invested in Hideki Suzuki.
If Hideki Suzuki does something, fine.
He's doing a great job.
I'm not saying he's not.
Standing
I'm
on the
saying
sideline.
that there's Tyler Russ boots that need filling, and I don't think they ever will be. Anyways,
What?
there's a wrist lock on Ilya.
What if they have Carmelo Hayes fill his boots?
Well, here's the thing. Unless it's Tyler Russ, it's not going to mean anything to me.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, Carmelo Hayes is busy breaking my heart anyways. Anywho. So, wrist lock on Ilya. Ilya ends up pushing away and up with his feet. And they kind of like get like a double headlock on each other. It's sort of just like aggressive hugging. That's what it looked like to me. Anyways, there's a knee to the midsection of Ilya to break that up, and a chop to the chest. We start exchanging some knife edge chops that make Ilya's chest look like a fucking Andy Warhol painting. But that's not really the Andy Warholist of it, is it? Unfortunately. So Roddy pulls Ilya by the knee into the ropes. We get a huge chop to Roddy and then a senton onto the man. Then there's a knee to the chest of Roddy. He wants a knee drop off the top rope, but Roddy evades it. He ends up swatting the leg. Ilya ends up swatting the legs out from under Strong. He manages the knee lift to the face of Roddy and then a drop kick. But Roddy sends Ilya out of the ring. And Ilya just lands on his ass. He then grabs Ilya by the jaw. They exchange some more blows against each other. And then Hachiman comes through. He's like talking to Roddy in the corner a bit while Roddy's getting his ass kicked. Hachiman comes through and distracts Ilya by, I think, banging on the stairs.
Yeah, something like that.
And then Roddy sends Ilya face first into those steps. There's a backbreaker into the apron to Ilya and then an abdominal stretch to Ilya, but he starts powering out very, very slowly, turns it into a side headlock, sends some elbows to Roddy, but then the abdominal stretch gets put back in. Ilya then he gets free of that. German suplex is Strong, doesn't release. It's another one, doesn't release. All of a sudden, there's blood dripping down Roderick's back. Ilya, from like the entire like T-zone of his face, blood.
Yeah, and he's got a huge like streak of it on the side of his head too.
And of course, like he's a blonde dude, so it's like you can see it vibrantly.
And he's like actively dripping on Roddy's back.
Roddy's back looked like somebody got murdered.
It's gnarly.
So he wants the jumping knee, but Ilya bridges to avoid it in spite of the fact that he has just sheets of blood coming down. And then, okay, so Ilya hits a move that, again, I don't know what it is. But let's look it up. Mark and I could not figure out what it was called.
What was the move? Like, describe it.
Well, okay, so we thought it was called something along the lines of the borderline. Where he grabs the person kind of by like the crotch or like the inside of like the body and like suplexes them more or less. And he did this last time and I also didn't know what it was called. Wade did though, and I just didn't understand what he was saying because it was just jumbled. I think it's the T-bone suplex. I think there's like a name for it. Anywho. There's a knee to the face of Ilya, but Ilya ends up doing the Kyle O'Reilly, which Roddy should have fucking seen coming. Goes back against the ropes, comes forward with the Torpedo Moscow to win. Not a good look for Roddy. Not a good look.
I don't believe it's the T-bone suplex. Hold on. Yeah, because, I mean, Shelton Benjamin used to do the T-bone suplex, and it was kind of like a power slam. And Taz used to do it.
I don't know them.
I mean, maybe I'm misremembering what Ilya did in the ring, but none of these. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is a T-bone suplex. Somebody posted that video of Shelton Benjamin doing it, and it does not look anything like it. Anyway. So after that, Walter comes out. Or no. Ilya's in the ring, screaming, "Walter, come out here. Walter!" Walter doesn't come out. And then we go to Cole and O'Reilly Prime Target. Very well done. Adam Cole says, the undisputed finale. End of an era. No, end of the era. Kyle says, when I think about everything Yui has accomplished, talk about everything we've done together. Oh, no, this is Cole saying this. When I think about everything Yui has accomplished, you talk about everything we've done together. Without me, you are nothing. Without Cole, Kyle is nothing. You wouldn't have won a title without me, or even made it to NXT without me. It was always Adam Cole and always will be Adam Cole. It blows my mind you tricked yourself into thinking you're on the same level as a guy like me. At TakeOver, I end Kyle O'Reilly. That is undisputed. And then we get Hit Row in the ring. BFAB says Santos put his hands in Swerve's mouth. Ashante says, hey, Elgato, don't play with us. Top Dallas says, play with Lottos so you can catch up. Swerve says, the moment I lay eyes on Santos, and then Santos appears in the Titantron, I may have disrespected your culture. When you turned my mask, or when you burned my mask, I understood. I'll bring this back to you. Holding up the grill. I'm out here all alone in the parking lot. How about you come out here and I give you this. We'll settle this like gentlemen. Swerve says, say less. And he leaves the ring and he goes outside to meet Santos. Meanwhile, all of Hit Row is yelling at him, don't do that. Stop. You don't realize the NXT parking lot's the most dangerous place in all of professional wrestling. More dangerous than the GCW bingo hall. So he goes outside, meets Santos. Wild and Mendoza attack from behind. Hit Row exit the ring and follow him. Santos starts to pull another grill out of Swerve's mouth. But this one is much more difficult to do. Hit Row and Legato brawl. And then Hit Row comes out on top. And Swerve says, you've got something that belongs to me. Pulls the grill from Santos's jacket. And they walk away. Also, Top Dollar had a very interesting homage in this promo. When he took Wild and kind of lawn darted him into the garage door. That was exactly what Kevin Nash did to Rey Mysterio. Like, move for move, frame by frame, exactly what happened. And we all know how big of a wrestling fan Top Dollar is.
Ever since watching the WWE, whatever it was, the Treasures or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm in love with AJ Francis.
Yeah. He's a gem.
He's like such a lovely dude.
He's a gem.
I always feel bad for him though, because he's always the one that's in charge of like making like the like bargaining for like these like valuable objects. He's like, I'll give you this much, and they're like, that's absurd. I'm not gonna take that much money. Like that's too little. He's like, please. I have to go back to Triple H.
So after that, we get LA Knight working out. Cameron wipes the sweat from his head. LA Knight walks over to Josh Briggs and hires him to beat up Cameron Grimes tonight. And then we go to Imperium in a dark room. One of them, I don't know who said what, but they said, tonight is about you guys, MSK. Tonight is about reminding guys like MSK that they need Imperium. We're gonna lead them to a future where there is no space for MSK. We are in this to protect and restore the honor to this great sport. And then we get Cameron Grimes versus Josh Briggs.
Alright. Didn't realize how big Josh Briggs was, honestly.
Big dude.
Was not aware. 6'8". 6'8".
Massive.
Yeah, huge. So there's a big boot to the face of Grimes that Josh Briggs does not take any effort to do because literally he lifts his leg and he's on the same level as Cameron Grimes. He slams Grimes down, splashes onto him. Grimes starts fighting back with some strikes to Briggs' body, then hits a crossbody to Briggs. We get forearms to Josh. He goes for another something, maybe like a crossbody, it kind of seemed like. But Briggs grabs Cameron Grimes by the throat. Cameron still manages to get a fucking Puma tackle on Briggs, but
Power
like
slam.
Puma tackle.
Power slam.
Puma
Power
tackle.
slam.
Anyways, anyways, but he gets a Puma tackle that he basically like floats through. I'm not gonna stop. It's just amazing because like you can kind of see his body like loft around Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was interesting. And then he does the cave-in to win.
Yeah. He was really feeling himself this match. Then we get the way backstage. Indi walks in wearing an Index shirt. She's talking about all the dates she's been on with Dexter. She said, we're thinking about getting matching tattoos. And Johnny's like, no. Tattoos are one thing. Matching tattoos are another thing. It's ridiculous. Indi says, I want to take our relationship to the next level. Johnny says, the true test is how you two work in the ring as a team. Dexter then, camera pans over and he's standing there and Johnny's like, oh God. How long have you been there, creep? How'd that cake taste? And he said, he loved it. He even had room for pie. And Johnny's like, wait, I went through that whole menu, front to back, and there was no pie. Oh, fuck. That's a fucking good one. So after that, we get an interview with Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Probably the most underwhelming tag team in NXT right now. They have been champions for how long now and have not really had a match at all? Can somebody fact check that? Have they had a match since winning the title? I know they haven't defended it. It's just whether or not they've fought like Aaliyah and Jessie Camilla.
Wouldn't you know?
What?
Wouldn't you know?
No. My rankings aren't like laid out that way.
I don't know.
Here, wait, actually, maybe I can just do Command F.
Yeah.
Io Shirai. So that's not that match. Match. Yeah, no, she hasn't been in a match at all. Neither of them have been in a match. Like, Candice and Indi were so much more fun as champions than Zoe and Io.
Yeah, well, you're not getting that back for at least a year now.
Yeah. And even MSK have been more fun as champions than Io and Zoe.
I've been having fun with MSK the entire time, so.
Dolphin and Robert Roode were a lot better as champions than Zoe and Io.
Well, they actually defended the belt, so
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah. All right. But in this interview, Zoe says, we're two different women with two different backgrounds. We're trying to understand each other's cultures. I'm trying to learn Japanese. Io said, it's not about liking you, it's about defending these titles, which we haven't done yet. Io walks away and Zoe just says, we're making progress.
I'm glad, because like I was a little worried. Glad that we didn't get
Another
vignette.
Japanese restaurant video.
of Zoe trying to learn Japanese, because I just feel like that would.
You know she's gonna speak it at some point. You know for a fact she's going to. I feel like we should be having this storyline like before they get the title. It's like the whole thing with Nikki Ash right now. Like you should be having the storyline before you get the title, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is very much like Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Very similar storyline, except Io and Zoe have the title. Like, I don't know. We should have had this in between them getting the #1 contender spot and them getting the title. But after that, we get Jessie Camilla and Robert Stone versus Indi Hartwell and Dexter Lumis in a mixed tag match.
This was a bop.
This was a really
This was a
fun
bop
match.
and a half. So Robert Stone, let's start there. Robert Stone has a. What's the nice way to say this?
Rat tail.
Rat tail. So he's got one of those. Jessie Camilla looks hot as fuck. It's probably my favorite part of this. And Indi and Dexter have like kind of like a synchronized little weird fucking slither entrance, and I loved it.
She's doing all of Dexter's stuff now. It's great.
Yeah. It's also funny if you know that like Robert Stone and Dexter are best buds.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been for a while, which makes this just that much more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because you know that 100% Dexter is watching this man like shadow box around him, and he's like, this is fucking ridiculous. Anyway. So Robert tries to take Dexter's ankles out. They're the first ones in. Tries to take Dexter's ankles out, but Dexter doesn't fucking move. He ends up getting down on the ground and slithering towards Robert. Robert slides out. Frankie Monet, who is there at ringside, tosses him back in. Dexter slaps Robert and then starts stomping him. Camilla comes in to kind of defend Robert, and Indi shoves her into the corner, stomps on her. Mia and Stone attack the two lovers, however, as they go, and they turn to each other like, oh my god, babe, we did that at the same time. And then Camilla and Stone are like, aha, our moment. Dexter ends up shoving Stone away. He stands too close to the apron, and Frankie Monet grabs his ankle, and he just kind of drags her into the ring, and Jess Carr is like, I'm not even going to DQ this because this is dumb, but you're out. Like, leave. And Frankie Monet gets all huffy puffy about it. We go to commercial break. When we come back, Camilla's in, Indi's in. Camilla snaps Indi back by her hair, goes for... I never know what to call this. I'm just going to call it the flapjack. Goes for a flapjack, but Indi rolls away. We get Stone versus Lumis right after that. There's just some jabs after jabs. There's a clothesline into a bulldog to Stone. And then a spine buster, which just Dexter Lumis does spine buster so well. It's just so fluid.
Yeah.
Camilla tries to break the cover, ends up landing on Stone. There's a clothesline to Camilla from Indi and an elbow to Camilla because Indi is not a legal person. There's a spine buster to Camilla, and then Robert Stone comes in and drags Indi off of Camilla, taking her out of the cover. Dexter fucking comes through, and he's like, did I see that properly? Because I'll fucking kill you. There's a body slam to Indi from Camilla, and then a single leg crab gets cinched in. Indi ends up reaching for Dexter, and in turn grabs the rope. Camilla then attacks Lumis, taking him off the apron. Stone goes to jump, like, to suicide dive out onto Lumis. Lands about like 4 feet away from Dexter.
If even that.
Yeah. It was so fucking stupid and so fucking funny. It was like, it made me angry that I was laughing. Um, we we then have Jesse Camilla come out to ringside. She slaps Dexter. Dexter kind of looks like he's about to like take her down. But Indi comes through. Indi tosses Camilla back into the ring. Hits her with the silence. Dexter hits Robert Stone with the silence. We're doing silence in tandem. It's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute.
Very cute.
And then match is over because Indi and Dexter win. And Mark, would you like to apprise the folks at home of what happened after that?
Yeah, so Indy goes over to Beth Phoenix, and Beth hands her something, and no idea what it is, but we also got a little interaction early on, I think before the match, where Indy looked at Beth and they exchanged looks. Beth Phoenix went like this, like calm down, you're gonna be fine. We knew something was up. And then Indy proposes to Dexter Lumis. And he says yes by nodding his head. And it was wonderful.
It's lovely. That we're here.
Also, before we move on to the next segment, I found an interview where Triple H was on Stone Cold's podcast, and he scolded Kevin Dunn a bit. Kevin Dunn, the director of the main roster. And it clearly shows that, like, why there's a power struggle, because if Triple H is in charge, which he would be the next in line, those firings are coming. Kevin Dunn and the rest of the old school guys, the old guard, they will not keep their jobs. And it also shows why NXT has a much different live editing and camera style than the main roster.
I mean, yeah, that's what I said when we were talking about this the first time. And you knew this too. A lot of this is seen as being kind of preventative measures to make sure that undermine Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I don't just believe that it's like, well, we want young guys who are like young big guys. I don't think it's just that, because I think it's deeper than that. I think they're trying to fuck up NXT.
They don't want Triple H in charge.
Yeah. I genuinely think that they're trying to fuck up NXT, but it doesn't really work that way when everyone knows who cut the people that were cut.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because we all know Triple H didn't do that. Shawn Michaels didn't do that.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I'm gonna go Charlie Day on this if I talk about it too much.
After that, we had an interview with Diamond Mine. Malcolm Bivens said, Ilya is not a cruiserweight, so this match didn't even happen. Roddy has a guaranteed opportunity against Kushida. Next time, you talk to me, not him. Then Beth Phoenix gives an interview to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel says, if Dakota can betray Tegan, then of course you do the same to me. Dakota says, big words from Big Mommy Cool. Where was your crystal ball when I knocked you? Raquel says, you've got an NXT title match from it. Congrats. I've been busy dominating this division. I am no longer a star in the making. I am a superstar. She said that in Spanish, though. Dakota says, you really think you're untouchable? I kicked your face off before you had a chance to put your hands up. I didn't teach you everything I know. Raquel, you wanted so bad to be a somebody. I'm the person that made you a somebody. You better be the somebody that I beat to become champion. Raquel says, how are you going to do that? Are you going to find the next Raquel Gonzalez to have your back? You use people. Then you get jealous when they become bigger stars than you. I have solved so many of your problems, but you'll have to take care of this one yourself. Dakota says, call me whatever you want. In 5 days, you will call me NXT Women's Champion. Raquel says, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. Sidekick. And then we get semifinals to the NXT Breakout Tournament. Carmelo Hayes versus Duke Hudson.
And, you know, Carmelo's impressive and Carmelo is hot, but like, he didn't have to do me like this. This one hurt.
One thing I noticed that could be a good sign, could be a bad sign. With the big guys going on 205 Live, the only one who hasn't is Duke Hudson. He's been the only guy in the breakout tournament who hasn't made an appearance on 205 Live.
Okay, that doesn't give me any promising hope at all.
Is it?
It makes me nervous.
Does it make you nervous or safe? Because they're knocking 205 Live guys. But Carmelo Hayes also hasn't been on it, I don't think. So I think it's just them two.
I don't know, honestly. Duke Hudson's a weird one. He's been on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't tell if I feel confident in him or if I feel less confident in him.
Yeah.
Less confident in him because he's not on the main roster anymore.
Uh-huh. I don't know.
Anyhow. Look at my little sprout.
It's cute. Yeah.
So Carmelo wants to suplex Duke Hudson to start that one early. Duke just tosses him away. We get some forearms that flatten Hayes. Shocked they didn't break his fucking nose, honestly. There's a kick to the leg of Duke Hudson, and then a kick to the leg of Carmelo that sweeps his legs out from under him. Duke gets thrown into a headlock from Hudson, ends up breaking out of it. Gets a side headlock, or Hayes gets another side headlock on Duke, who ends up once again breaking free, flips Carmelo over his shoulder, sends some more forearms to Carmelo, not quite as hard hitting. There's a springboard clothesline to Duke Hudson, and then Duke Hudson just picks up Carmelo Hayes, just picks him up, and fucking yeets his ass over the top rope. Just sailing. Looked painful. Step up insecurity to Hudson, and then a knee to the face of Hayes. Looked like really fucking nasty. And a big clothesline. He suplexes Hayes. Hudson goes, is sent outside. He goes to get back in and gets scissor kicked in the little head. There's a boot to the face of Hudson, then a DDT to Hudson on the apron that did not go well at all. Carmelo basically slipped off the apron. And instead of getting the DDT like you're supposed to, where it's like the person's head being driven into the ground, he ended up smacking Duke's like shoulder into the apron.
Yeah, looks like Carmelo slipped on the apron and accidentally pulled Duke more off the apron than he was supposed to. It looked bad. It looked real bad.
So Duke Hudson laid on the ground for a minute there.
Mm-hmm. Like under the apron.
I because of the angle, at first I was like, oh, he broke his fucking nose. He had to have.
Yeah, 100%.
No, he did not. And he also didn't hurt his shoulder, apparently, which it looked like would have been the second most likely option.
Mm-hmm.
Because he got back in, he was, holding him up, and I was like, okay, well, either he's incredible or he's fine. In the Last of Us. Anywho. So then we get like this weird, I don't even know if we can call it like a tornado DDT. It was not a tornado DDT. It was just like Carmelo went hula hooping around Duke Hudson's body before smacking him down with another DDT in the ring. I couldn't explain it any other way than that. Carmelo goes up top. He gets carried down by Hudson, who's then tossed into an inside cradle by Carmelo. We get a pump kick and a jawbreaker to Hudson. Carmelo goes up top again. It's a flying kick to the back of the neck, his lovely little finisher, to win. I guess I'm just a little... I guess the reason I'm disappointed is... Oh my god, I cannot fucking talk today. The only reason I'm a little disappointed is because I saw this coming. This did not surprise me at all.
Yeah. I know for a fact Carmelo Hayes is gonna win, which is annoying because he immediately got a cruiserweight title shot and fought Adam Cole when he came to NXT.
Sorry, your mic cut out for half that sentence, but I know what you just said.
Okay, it probably just cut out for you. I don't think it cut out on the stream's end. But we then get an interview with Carmelo Hayes right after the match. He says, 2 weeks ago I called my shot and I kept my word. Look at the dudes I had to go against. Guys 2-3 times my size. In the end, you gotta face the final boss. Odyssey, I'm that final boss. Odyssey Jones comes out. He says, final boss. Carmelo, after I win this tournament, the whole NXT universe is gonna sound the alarm. And then we get a promo with JC Jane. She says, we will not be silenced. We've been caged for too long. We will break free. This is pretty lame.
I'm not... I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just my personal opinion of Gigi, and I don't know if it's maybe just because I don't like JC Jane's name, because it's basically Kaden Carter's name.
Well, I find I found JC Jane pretty annoying, like, since she came. Gigi, I think she's a good wrestler and she's got the personality and the promo chops, but I don't see any of that in JC.
If they're going from this perspective of being these like brooding, almost like witchy kind of ladies, like kind of a cult, it seems.
No, they're dominatrix. Like that, they're keeping
that.
Yeah. Because that's been Gigi's whole thing, even in the Indies, and they decided to keep it going to NXT.
I knew that was Gigi's thing. I didn't know anything else.
Yeah.
But that said, but still, if that's the vibe, I mean, they've kind of got this dark, edgy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And Mandy Rose is like supposed to be their mentor.
It's like next time we see Mandy Rose, she's in like an all leather, like an all leather suit, like a morph suit made of leather. Gimp suit.
There's something in me that's saying there's something going on with Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
It's just weird to me that she suddenly got transferred to NXT.
Well, they had to trade her.
Right. Not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying it's weird that she got suddenly transferred, and now she's not wrestling.
Yeah.
When we see her, it's spotty at best. It's something doesn't hit right there. I don't know what it is.
But in all fairness, when your brand is NXT and you have all this young talent, you don't want to bring somebody down from the main roster and have them immediately like start dominating the division, which Mandy Rose would. It wouldn't be fair to all the other talent. I mean, like, you have somebody on the men's division, you talk about like I guess you can consider Samoa Joe. Who knows what he's gonna do with the title once he's done with it. There's a lot of people saying he might drop the title. Miriam said, I actually think it's a smart thing on NXT's part, because if she's coming on as a manager type, then it's probably good she's taking a back seat, because it seems like they've been trying to keep her role hush-hush even in the promos she's had. Yeah, that makes sense. We don't know for a fact she's a manager. She could be a wrestling manager.
I know you keep telling me to not rush the summer, but I need the draft to happen. I need to know what the fuck is going on.
You say that like
I feel like things are finally going to kick off.
You say that like NXT will be part of the draft. I doubt it will be. I really doubt it.
I know, I do too.
Alright, so then we get Cameron Grimes' medical with Ted DiBiase. Ted says, I'm sorry, Cameron. Sorry to go through that. Cameron says, I got myself into this mess. I came into a lot of money and I lost my mind. I wanted to be the $1 million champion. You gave me the opportunity for that. $1 million man was there believing in me. I'm a champion. After TakeOver 36, we will be $1 million champions going to the moon. I'm back, baby. And Cameron Grimes is back. And then we get MSK versus Imperium for the NXT Tag Team titles.
Yeehaw, cow pokes. Boy, do I have a lot written down for this fucking match.
Oh, God.
Listen, it's an MSK match. They do so much in the span of time that like it takes like one person to commit to one move. Anywho. Ooh. Ilya had to get 8 stitches over his eye.
Oh, wow. Really split open on those suplexes.
Ugh. No, somebody said to me that they think Roddy kicked him in the face or something.
Oh.
It'd be really bad. I think that would be concussion level if he suplexed somebody and then split his own skin open. I think it must have been something Roddy did, and maybe we just didn't see it bleed immediately until the suplexes. Because you get the blood pumping the moment you're like, whoosh.
Yeah.
Good news. Hell, we've talked about that. Wesley versus Fabian to start. Fabian tosses Wesley, who lands on his feet. He's moving faster than Fabian can move. He gets a side headlock on the man, who then tosses him into the corner. He ends up like hooking an arm around Fabian's and manages like a crucifix pin in the same breath. Like, basically pulls himself up by the arm to crucifix pin Fabian. Which, doing the math right, is fucking incredible. Nash gets in. There's a kick to the head of Fabian from Wesley. Nash hits a seated senton to the face, or so maybe like the face neck area of Fabian, as he always does. Marcel gets in. Marcel gets a fucking arm sub on Nash. And then handstands. Or not even handstands, headstands.
Yeah, it was like shoulder stand. I get why he did it.
And then bridges. Why did he do it, Mark?
Because it's applying all that weight into one concentrated point rather than spreading out over his body, so it weighs down the arm lock.
Okay. Fair enough. To me it looked like showboating, but I'll respect either one.
You think Imperium would showboat?
Never know. So there's a sort of arm drag to Marcel, who lands on his feet. Nash then slides under Marcel, but gets caught by an uppercut. There's a kick to Nash. He goes into the air, but Marcel hits him in the face with a boot, hits him with the double underhook suplex. Fabian gets in, sends some chops to the chest of Nash. He lifts Nash, but Nash manages to skirt away just in time. Gets Wes in. They're exchanging kicks to Fabian, cutting him down. Nash hits the double stomp to the back of Fabian. MSK then load an intruding Marcel out of the ring. They go to dive out onto both Fabian and Marcel. But they catch Marcel and Fabian catch both of them and body slam them ringside. Eichner gets back in. He drops Lee on his head in the ring. Marcel, or kind of, I wouldn't say drops actually. He throws Marcel, or throws Lee on his head in the ring. Marcel gets in. There's a headlock on Wes. There's an enziguri, though, to Bartel from Wes. He ends up tossing Wes into a single leg crab. Lee, however, pushes Marcel away, right into Nash. So he takes Nash off the apron. So now his tag team buddy is gone. Marcel gets that single leg crab cinched back in. He drags Wesley over to Fabian. Fabian throws Wes into the buckles. Marcel gets in. They hit the tandem Imperium offense that everybody loves, the sliding dropkick. Wesley then loads Marcel out like a... Wesley loads Marcel out as a last-ditch attempt. Marcel tries to stop him from getting Nash in, though, as he gets back in. Marcel jumps in, grabs Wes. Doesn't help. Nash gets in. Fabian gets in. There's a kick to the head of Fabian. And immediately right after that, they get Wesley back in, which I thought was not smart. Because Wesley had just gotten, his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a wrestler. There's an assisted moonsault. Walter then comes through. He runs interference. Basically, he distracts the ref. Imperium double team. They end up getting set up for the Imperium bomb. But Ilya comes out and stops Walter and starts bleeding again. Immediately. He stops Walter. Nash takes Marcel off the top rope. They end up hitting their assisted blockbuster onto Fabian for MSK to win. And then Walter chokes out Ilya. And I said, oh, Walter really is losing the title, isn't he?
Yep, he is. He 100% is.
Dude, Ilya as the champion, though, is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and it most likely means Walter will be on NXT Prime.
Also, can I just say, this is the one thing I do really love about NXT UK, which is no matter the size of the opponent, they always make it seem like a believable fight. And they do this on NXT Prime as well. But no matter the size of the opponent, it's like, I believe that there's a chance that the smaller guy could win. Mm-hmm. Even with Drake Maverick fights, there are times where I'm just like, no, maybe he could win. I can see how this would happen.
Not anymore.
And I love that. Because they do that shit on the when they do shit like that on the main roster, you're like, oh well, the big guy's obviously about to crush the little dude. Yeah. No wonder.
Yeah.
But that's just one of those things where it's like it adds to that mystery and adds to that optimism that there's anything possible. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those things that I really like about NXT. And on top of that, I was just complaining about this yesterday because this is something that's bothered me for a while now, and especially more so now that we started watching AEW. On the main roster, there's a lot of fighting that happens outside the ring. And I don't quite know why. That always fucking annoys me.
Yeah, annoys a lot of people.
I don't know why, but I do know that it bothers other people too. But with that said, NXT doesn't do that quite as much. Yeah. And I think that adds to the show.
It does.
But, sorry, I can't stop hiccuping because I'm drinking a beer. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to speak through those words.
But after that match, we get Promo of Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland. Once again, Oni Lorcan is nowhere to be seen. Ridge says,
Yeah. Where the fuck is Oni?
They might be waiting until Danny Burch is back to get the tag team back.
Keep doing the promo. I'm gonna look something up.
So Ridge says, Ciampa and Thatcher, I don't care how long you've been in this. I don't give a toss how much you've sacrificed. I've pushed past tough men to just have a fight. Pete says, 10 months waiting. It's time to make a name for yourself. Ridge says, next week I'll be seeing you. And then we get Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross facing off. Joe says, oh, Karrion, the venom that seeps through my lips when I talk about you. One last face-to-face before the big title match. One more opportunity for me to verbally eviscerate you in front of the world. Joe is so fucking eloquent. He really is.
That man holds a microphone and I'm just like...
Yeah. But I realize it's pointless. I'm not a man who is here to hurt your feelings. I'm simply a man who is here to hurt you. So tuck your clock in your back pocket. Stroll your ass down here, young champion. Did you say yawn champion or young champion? I couldn't tell.
Probably young.
Okay.
Also, real quick. Danny Burch got injured in March. There's no way they're holding out to have him come back.
Yeah. Maybe they're waiting to put Oni like somewhere else because I feel like he doesn't really fit in the Dunn Ridge faction now that Pat's not involved.
And I reiterate, where the fuck is Oni Lorcan?
Maybe he'll join Diamond Mine.
The idea of him, he's so unhinged.
Yeah. He'll be the Ashante Adonis of Diamond Mine.
Alright. I mean, my heart's still broken, but like, fine. That's fair.
He would fit so well because he's a very technical dude.
He is a very technical wrestler.
He'd be a great fit for Diamond Mine. It would suck for Danny Burch when he comes back eventually, but...
Yeah, Danny Burch definitely is going to come back, I'm sure.
Danny Burch 100% would be brought up to the main roster because he's like old school burly. Like if you look at like the original wrestlers, like the Bruno Sammartino era, that is Danny Burch.
I wonder if he'll get sent back to NXT UK.
I doubt it. He's been so long in NXT and 205 Live that I don't see him going to NXT UK. Miriam said, imagine Malcolm Bivens trying to deal with Oni. Both their Twitter games together would just be too strong. But anyway, back to the promo. Karrion comes out. He says, you still don't get it, Joe. This isn't about you. This ain't even about me. This is about the future of this brand. Okay, I'm gonna pause for 1 second. Since when has his storyline been about the future of the brand? Since when? I know he's brought up the future of the brand in promos before, but when has a goal of his ever been to to change the future of the brand? When? Has it ever been brought up? Like, and he doesn't even like continue on it in this promo. He just says it and that's it. I swear he's like the Antichrist for NXT. Gonna cause the fucking rapture in NXT. He said, at this present time, I'm gonna call NXT security to the ring. It's not protection for me, it's protection for you. bullshit. We all know it's protection for you. What do you think's gonna happen at TakeOver? You really think you've got a shot? I think I'm gonna drop you. I think you know that. I also think I'm gonna drop you real fast. He thought he was being clever with saying, I think.
We all know he doesn't think.
Yeah, I mean, his whole thing is like time and clocks. And you would think some kind of like, I forget the term, but kind of knowing what happens next. You'd say, I know I'm gonna drop you. I know you know that.
It's one of those things that they teach you when you're a woman, that you shouldn't say like things like I just or I think. You're supposed to be affirmative.
Yeah.
Learn, Carrion.
If you want to get ahead in the workplace, learn that.
If we want to break that glass ceiling, Carrion. God. Speaking of glass ceiling, where the fuck is Scarlet?
Oh, we should also mention the crowd was chanting, "Where's Scarlet?"
Me too.
One of the rare.
I'm also chanting that.
One of the rare cases where I love the CWC crowd. They do shit like this.
No, they were cheering for MSK today, and I like that.
No, they weren't.
Like,
not the whole time. They were chanting, "This is awesome" for the match, but
what I'm saying is they cheered for MSK when they came out, which is usually how I gauge it. Because once the matches start, I can't really tell what the fuck they're cheering for.
Yep. But Joe then attacks Carrion. Probably because he knows the audience doesn't want to hear him speak anymore. And then a brawl ensues, going all the way out of the ring, on the sidelines, and into the crowd. And yeah, that's the episode. That's NXT for today. That's our recap. Stick around for the bests of the night and then the questions segment. What do you want to say?
I was just gonna ask, can I get up real quick and grab something?
Sure.
I forgot that the can of beer needs to be rinsed off, so I'm just gonna pour it into a cup.
Okay.
There's a lot of dirt on it.
Okay.
Like dust.
And while Liz does that, so we're gonna get into the best of the night. We'll start with promo of the night. I'm sure Liz can still hear me with her AirPods, so I'm gonna run through. I think she said she can't, but I'm still gonna. Oh, okay, she said she can. So I'm gonna run through the promos. We started with Diamond Mine's promo. To start off, it was fine. And we got Cole and O'Reilly prime target. It was pretty good. It wasn't the best prime target that they've done, probably because they've already done a prime target for Cole and O'Reilly, so this is just another one for them. Hit Row and Legato's segment was great. The details in it was fantastic, and another example of the NXT parking lot being extremely dangerous, and the most dangerous place in professional wrestling. Then we had LA Knight working out. That whole promo, that was kind of dumb. Imperium's promo was alright. The way backstage was fine. It was a little funny. Io and Zoe's interview was lame. Diamond Mine's interview was fine. Dakota and Raquel's interview, that was... I was surprised at how lackluster Dakota was in that promo, in the interview.
She was lackluster, I guess, but she looked so fucking...
She did. She said she's growing out her natural curls, and that those clothes were actually her clothes.
She's so attractive, it fucking hurts me.
What happens when you maintain hair color like every day? She puts in the fucking work with her hair.
Yeah.
But Raquel did a really good job in this interview. I feel like Dakota's kind of feeling that dread because she's been put in dark matches to just lose. And I'm sure that does something to you, realizing that. Um, but Raquel was good. She had some really good lines, pulling Dakota's sidekick, saying that Dakota's gonna find the next Raquel Gonzalez. After that, we had the interview with Carmelo Hayes to promote Odyssey and Carmelo. That was fine. JC Jane promo was pretty lame. Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase was fun, just to see the old Cameron Grimes back. Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland's promo was lackluster, and Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross face-off was lackluster as well. Joe was fantastic. Joe's always one of the best in promos. He could pull off some real Shakespearean shit. That's why I thought he said "Yawn Champion," channeling that inner Shakespeare.
I can see it.
But Carrion's side was extremely dull.
Of course it was. Shocker.
Yeah. But I'm gonna give it to the Hit Row Legato segment. That was definitely the most fun and exciting promo that we got. And it moved the story a lot.
I'll give it to you.
And also, I'm not sure who we're supposed to be rooting for, which is great. Like,
They both seem like heels.
but they both also seem like good guys. Like,
Yeah?
I have never, except when they were first introduced, I have never believed that Legato were like real heels. I've always been rooting for them because they've always had this grand picture for their motivation, wanting to revolutionize Lucha Libre, and they're all about their culture, which is a very, it's a real motive. It feels very genuine, which, how can you not root for that?
Yeah.
Plus Hit Row, how could you not root for Hit Row? They're so great. Like, just for sheer quality.
Yeah.
Alright, so Wrestler of the Night now. Do you even need me to go through them? I know who I'm gonna pick for Wrestler of the Night.
I think I knew who I'm gonna pick.
I'm picking Ilya Dragunov.
Thank God. I'm also picking Ilya.
I mean, the fact that he split open his head and just immediately did that back bridge. Oh my God.
That was ridiculous.
And then took that knee at the end. Like that
no,
rocket.
I was like, Roddy, please.
And then headbutt Roddy. Fucking Ilya is something else. He is fantastic.
He's a goblin. I love him.
Also, should note this before we move on to Match of the Night. If you have a question for our question segment, leave it in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, leave it in the comments and we'll get to it in the next episode. If you're watching live, leave it in the chat now so it's there when we go to the questions. Alright, so Match of the Night. I have a feeling you'll agree. But let's start from worst, and we'll go to the best, like always. The worst match of the day with a 5 out of 10. You know it's a good day when the lowest is a 5 out of 10. It was Cameron Grimes versus Josh Briggs. Cameron did a really good job. Josh was, it was fine. Didn't push a whole lot. It was just a match for the sake of Cameron Grimes looking good before TakeOver. Next up, 6 out of 10, Nash Carter or MSK versus Imperium. It was a fun match. It was a fun match that had the lame ref distraction with Walter. That didn't win the match, but you would think Imperium, the people who want to keep honor and integrity in wrestling, that they wouldn't do tricks like that. You would think. Right?
They're still heels.
They're
so I don't
heels,
know.
but you could be heels and not distract. Like, I would expect Diamond Mine not to.
No, I can see both of those scenarios happening, understandably.
Why do you think... What does distracting a ref have to do with honor and integrity? I guess in professional wrestling, that is the sport. It's distracting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a fun match. Next up, 6 out of 10, Carmelo Hayes versus Duke Hudson. Just a straight up fun match. Not the best that we've seen from Duke Hudson, but still fun. Then with a 7 out of 10, Jesse Camilla and Robert Stone versus Dexter Lumis and Indi Hartwell. Super fun match. Great storytelling. Great gimmicks from Indi and Dexter. Like, doing such a good job. This was so fun. This was such a joy to watch. Great.
This was a...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. All right. And then finally, the match of the night with an 8 out of 10. Roderick Strong versus Ilya Dragunov. What would have made it a 10 out of 10 is if there was an aspect of storyline behind it. Also, if Hideki Suzuki hadn't done the distraction on Ilya. But they are clearly doing that with Ilya, making distractions his weakness. Because he did that, he had that done to him when he was facing Pete Dunne, and now.
Yeah.
It seems like he's frantic. I think that's...
Which makes sense, according to his character, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I can't really knock that against the match because it fits with his character and his storyline.
Yeah.
But if there was a grand storyline behind the match, it would have made it a 10 out of 10. Still a fantastic match. The blood from on Ilya was a great visual, and he fucking just kept on going. Props to that athlete. Alright. So, to run it back, our promo of the night is Hit Row and Legato square off. Wrestler of the night.
Do you not need my confirmation anymore?
I saw your face. I saw your face light up when I said Roddy versus Ilya.
Yeah, but still, there was no verbal confirmation.
All right. Well, do you agree? You really gonna think about this?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Good. Thank you. I'm glad you agree. So to run it back, promo of the night, Hit Row and Legato square off. Wrestler of the night, Ilya Dragunov. Match of the night, Roderick Strong versus Ilya Dragunov. You want to answer some questions?
I'd like to answer a question.
Okay. Well, lucky for you, looks like we only have one. So Miriam in chat asked, what do you see as Walter's role on NXT US after he loses the title? How do they keep Imperium together as a big bad faction if none of them are champions? You don't need any of them to be champions. You have Walter destroying smaller guys. Even mid-carders, he could fucking annihilate on his way to beating Joe.
Hey, I was gonna say Walter's gonna fucking beat the shit out of Joe.
Or
We'll go from there, I think.
how they do it is they put Pete Dunne as the next contender for the NXT title, given the promos with him and Joe. And then I don't know if Liz is listening to me right now. Okay.
Damn. I didn't know if the cat was outside the door.
Okay. So they put Pete Dunne as the next contender for the NXT title. But Walter has a match against him, and he just fucking crushes him. Squash match, 2 minutes, that's it. And that's how they immediately push Walter and Imperium to be like the big force to be dealt with by crushing a main event contender.
I really think that if Walter comes over to NXT US, it's gonna be a new era.
Mm.
In a very special way, because Walter's gonna fucking control that shit. I think, in a weird way, I think even if they don't have the titles, Walter's gonna come to NXT US, and Imperium's gonna become even more of a fucking frightening faction.
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna run the fucking show.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna very much get Walter as the Miro of NXT.
Yeah. I mean, he could crush Swerve in an instant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Crush Kushida. And Joe versus Walter. That's a fucking match. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That'd be insane. So I don't know. I'm not so worried about him losing his title. I think it might almost be good for him.
You know what would be so great and hilarious? Carmelo Hayes wins the NXT Breakout Tournament. Wants to face Joe for the NXT Championship. And after TakeOver, they announce that match. Walter comes in after losing a TakeOver. He just basically he puts Carmelo down, just annihilates him, and says, "Move, I'm next." That way, Pete Dunne isn't squashed, but still a main event contender.
Also, the return to that feud would be prolific, I think.
Yeah. But I think before that, they would have Pete Dunne face Ilya for the UK title. That would make more sense.
Sure.
All right. So that's all the questions we have. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
Oh my god, yes I would, because I really, 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 really have to pee. Like in a massive way. If you like this podcast, if you tuned in tonight, I was gonna start with your shit. Sorry. If you tuned in tonight, thank you so much. And if you tuned in the future, thank you so much. Mark and I will be back on Friday, whether it fucking kills us.
After going to Boston, we'll have immediately.
Yeah, we're going to Boston.
We would have immediately come back from Boston, when SmackDown starts or something like that.
Yeah, we'll leave with more than enough time to get back. But we will be back on Friday for SmackDown. And then we'll be back on the 21st, SummerSlam. And then we'll be back that following day for TakeOver. And then we'll be back that following day for Raw. Anyways, we'll be back. We'll be around for 5 fucking straight days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yep. It's okay. Mania week all over again. Except that was 6 days in a row.
Oh.
Remember that? No, that was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That was 7 days. That was a full week of streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Follow and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the live show, twitch.tv/The Pinfall Podcast. If you're watching on Twitch, check us out on YouTube. You can see all of our previous episodes there. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Alane23. And we'll see you all on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Oh, no. We'll see. God, what day is
Mark, you skipped everything.
I just want to skip all these days. We'll see you on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a fantastic 2 days, and we'll see you then.